Hello, my friends. Thanks for watching Yoga with Joy. I'm Joy. Um, Today we're focusing on back bends. Back bends are great to, lower stress levels, anxiety. It gives you a nice boost of energy due to that increased blood flow in the body, and it's also great, to increase the flexibility in your spine and mobility, right? So it makes everything better. I hope you enjoy. Try to listen to your body. Do what you can. Be kind to yourself. All right. So we're gonna start today on our backs, and if you have blocks, feel free to use blocks. You can place them right between the shoulder blades in the mid setting or even in the lowest setting here. I'm gonna use a blanket because we all have a blanket or a towel at home, and you can roll that blanket like a big burrito here. And you're gonna place that blanket on your mat, and it's gonna rest right below the shoulder blades. So you're just adding a little bit of a back bend here right away. And if you don't feel comfortable just letting your head hang, you can place a little pillow or something under your head. So you should feel already that opening through the chest. You can extend your arms out, or you can cactus your arms. If it feels comfortable to you, do butterfly legs here. And feel the nice space, right? Feel that opening through the thoracic spine. Soften through the shoulders and just start to bring awareness to the breath. Maybe close your eyes. See if you can add a little count to your breath and inhale for 4 to 6. Pause briefly at the top and then exhale for 4 to 6. Start to add volume, texture to the breath. Two more. And then from here, if you were with your legs in butterflies, slowly bring them to touch. Roll to one side, remove the prop out of the way, and go back to your back, friends. You can rock a little bit, windshield wipe the legs. We're going to take a supine twist, so shift your hips slightly to the left to let your knees fall to the right. Turn your gaze to the left as well. Breathe here. Come back to center, hips to the right, knees to the left, or whatever side you didn't do just yet. Try to soften, stay relaxed here. And come back to center. Now we're going to link our breath to our movement, okay? So you're going to be moving your hips and your arms at the same time. Let me scooch down a little bit. So plant your feet hip width apart here, parallel to each other. So we're going to inhale still very slow, right? That 4 to 6 count. So you're going to inhale, start to lift your hips and your arms.
Get your hips as high as you can, and then take your arms overhead. And then exhale. Slowly start to round your spine. So think about rolling each vertebrae at a time until your hips touch the floor. We're going to do this 3 more times. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold at the top. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 2 more left here. Do at your own pace. Follow the breath. Last one. Good work, friends. Now start to rock back and forth the length of your spine. If it feels good to go a little bit bigger and bring the feet overhead into a little plow pose, you can do that. Last one. And then we're gonna rock into our sits bones. Just doing a little bit of core here just to wake up the core. We're gonna do bulge pose in Navasana. So remember, you can always start with your heels on the floor or just touching the big toes. Otherwise, you can lift your shins, right? You can even hold the back of your legs. Now really wake up your toes here, whether you're pointing, flexing. What? So you're now rounding the spine. So we want to lift that chest, relax the hip flexors, hold the belly in. We're going to inhale, reach. Exhale, bring the arms about shoulder height. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more, breathe. Inhale. Exhale, hold it here. Plug the shoulders and release. Hug the shins, lengthen through the spine. Now you can keep the shins parallel to the ceiling, right, for a little bit more challenge. Or you can, again, rest your heels or the tips of your big toes here. Now keep leaning back. Just gonna add a few twists here. Breathe. You're gonna feel those obliques waking up as well. Come back to center, lift that chest. Now think as if you're climbing a rope. Do this for 3, 2, 1. All right, release. Again, hug your shins in, lengthen through the spine. All right, let's come into all fours for a little cat and cow here, warming up the spine and shoulders. Feel that nice stretch through the front body as you lift that tail. Slowly round. Move organically, move like you, sway the hips. Maybe even press back into a child's pose. May hear a little popping through the shoulders. 2 more. So before we start flowing, we're just gonna do a little bit of work here for the shoulders, right, and the upper back. So when we do back bends, we do wanna open the front body, and we also wanna open the upper body as well, right? So we're gonna focus on the quads a little bit, the hip flexors, the chest, shoulders, all right? So as you stay on your all fours here, keep your hips in line with your knees. Now take your hands shoulder width or a little bit wider, and then Walk the hands in front of you, lift your, release your chest towards the floor. Pull the belly button in. Relax the shoulders, your jaw. And then press your forearms, bring your hips down. So you're gonna be on a little sphinx pose here. So keep shoulders over the elbows, right? Your forearms are about shoulder width apart. Your feet, you can squeeze them together. I feel lots of tension in my low back when I do this, so I prefer to take my feet a little bit wider. But you do wanna wake up your legs here. Draw your navel towards the spine and think of energetically drawing the heels of your hands towards the chest. So you're not moving your hands, but you're actively pressing through your forearms. One more breath. And release. Now, take your right arm out to the side, roll towards the right shoulder for wishbone pose. Rest your head on the floor. Now you're gonna bend your left knee, grab a hold of your foot or your ankle for that quad stretch here. Make sure your knee's not pointing towards the ceiling, friends. So draw that knee slightly towards the midline here. 2 more. Final breath. Breathe in deeply. Exhale slowly. Release your foot. And come back to center. We're gonna switch sides. So extend your left arm out. Make sure your palm is facing the ground. First, find the pose, and then you can add that quad stretch. Notice where you feel a little resistance, tension, tightness, and breathe into those areas. Breathe in those areas of your body. So if you've been feeling a little tired, right, low energy, or perhaps overwhelmed, you know, back bends are a great way to give you a little boost of energy. Slowly release. Come back to center here. Press back into a child's pose, but keep your knees touching for this one. Let's release the low back a little bit. So let your hips get heavy towards the heels. Now walk your hands to the right, stack your left palm if that's available. One more breath here. Breathe back to center and exhale to the left. Come back to center, and you're gonna find your downward dog. So extend your arms and legs, plant your feet about hip width apart. If you're feeling tight in your low back and hamstrings, bend your knees here as much as you need. Just make sure the weight is not shifting forward, right? Shift your weight back. If movement in the legs feels right, invite them. And then start to crisscross the legs here to walk towards the top of your mat. Step your feet hip width, soften the knees, inhale, halfway lift. So press through the hands, right? Press the shins, tone the belly, knit the ribs, exhale, release. 2 more times, breathe in and breathe out. Some of you may even need to bring the hands a little bit higher to find that long spine here. That's okay. And then hold, release here, everything. If it feels good to move, move. If not, find stillness. And soften the knees, roll the spine. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, lace your fingers behind your back. Take an inhale. So I want you to press your hips slightly forward. So it's almost like already working on the back bend here. Softening the knees. Exhale, rinse the knuckles away from the spine. One more. Release the hands to the floor. Step your left foot back. Your back knee can come to the ground right away. Open your chest, breathe here. That right knee stays over your ankle. If your back knee is not touching the floor, make sure you're pressing that knee up. Frame your right foot, knee comes down. Inhale. Sweep the arms for a low lunge. You're gonna lace the fingers here, create a little hammock for your head. Plug your right hip back, left hip forward. Breathe into the upper back. And also send your breath to that left hip, right? The front of that left hip, quad. And release. Frame your right foot. You're gonna curl the back toes, straighten both legs here. This is a great pose, pyramid pose. So if you wanna use blocks here, friends, you can do one block in front of your foot or one on either side. So this is a great pose also to work on the spine and opening the chest and also the back of the legs. One more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Now bend your right knee a little bit. Just step back into a downward dog. Take an inhale. Exhale. Roll forward into your plank. Coming all the way down. Loop the shoulders back and down. Breathe in for cobra or upward dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward. So whatever variation you worked on the other side, you can do the same here. One more. Slowly frame your foot, take your knee down, untuck those back toes, sweep your arms, lace the fingers. Last one. Frame your front foot, find two straight legs. So some of you may need to adjust your feet here. Some of you may be feeling this more in the back of your leg or a little bit more into the low back. On my left side, I feel more in my low back. I've done quite a bit of heavy legs this week, so definitely feeling that tension in my hamstrings. which, you know, affects the low back. Soften the toes a bit more, last breath. All right, just step your right foot to meet your left this time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Again, breathe in and breathe out. Final one, inhale. Exhale. Sweep the arms. Lace the fingers one more time, always finding something new. Inhale, lift your heart. Exhale, soften. Allow those knuckles to come away from your spine. Take 3 breaths here. So back bends are also great to strengthen the upper back, right, and to release that tension from the neck, shoulders that we tend to hold a lot of tension, right, when we're feeling stressed. And often we don't even notice, we don't realize that we're doing those things to our bodies, to ourselves. Release your hands. Step your right foot back. So we're going to repeat that same little sequence here. But again, always going a little deeper if that's available. And exhale, frame your foot. Take your knee down to the ground. You're going to inhale, reach your arms up. This time, take your palms to touch and do a reverse prayer here. So you're going to feel this a little bend to your arms as well. Make sure you're not collapsing into the hip joint here. Stay active through the right foot. Definitely feeling this in my upper back. And frame your right foot. This time, friends, just shift your hips back for a runner's stretch. Take another breath here. Inhale, rebend your right knee, curl the back toes, step back plank, lower down to your belly. Let's take a little spider cobra here. So take your hands outside your mat or whatever you are. Inhale, lift, pull the belly in. One more. Notice if you hold your breath. And release. Lace your fingers behind your back. Stretch those knuckles away from you, away from your body. Keep your feet down, but wake up your legs. Inhale. Neck is long. And release. Turn your head to one side. Sway the hips. Do a little Sphinx pose here. Maybe even add a little stretch. Tuck that chin in. Come back to center. And release. Go back down. Lace the fingers again. This time we're going to lift our chest and our legs. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift. Make sure your knuckles are not resting right on your booty. Energy through the legs. Breathe. Lift a little higher. And release. Turn your head to the other side. You can even windsweep the legs a little bit. press back, child's pose. Again, knees touching. Downward dog. If you are ready, step your left foot forward. Open twist. Frame your foot. Take your right knee to the ground. Inhale. Prayer.
Notice if you can send your breath into the mid and upper back. And frame your foot.
Shift your hips back. Runner stretch. Once I hear from a teacher that we are only as young as our spine is flexible. And you know, I spent some time thinking about that, and it's so true. Right? Having that space, that mobility, that freedom, it makes a huge difference. Bend your knee. Step back plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, hold. Inhale, cobra, spider, cobra, sphinx, whatever works for you. Take another breath here. This is great to open the front body, right? To stretch those abdominal walls, especially if you tend to do lots of core work. You're definitely gonna feel that stretch. You know, that good soreness after you do a nice workout. It happens to me every time I do core work, and then you stretch everything. It can be a little bit uncomfortable when you're doing, but it feels good after. All right, we're gonna repeat the same locus. If you don't want to lace your fingers now, you can just reach your arms back and press the palms as if you're pressing the palms down, right? Take an inhale. Exhale. Just lift here, your chest. And release. Turn your head to one side. Move a little bit if you want. You're gonna do that Sphinx pose once again. Just spend a couple breaths here. Maybe you even shift your gaze to one side. Breathe into the side of the neck. Back to center. Switch. And release. Now we're gonna lift the legs as well, friends. Breathe in and breathe out. And release. Turn to the other side, let go of the pose. Thank yourself for your efforts. Press back, child's pose. Downward dog. Step your right foot. Now from here, stack your knee over your ankle, lengthen through the leg, the back leg, tone the back leg. Inhale, rise for high lunge. You do have the option to keep your back knee on the floor. Inhale. Exhale, open, twist. Here, we're gonna flip that front palm and just reach up and back. So you're doing a little back bend here. Good, come back to center. Take another breath here. If you can lift your gaze a little bit more, soften those shoulders. Now you're gonna take your hands to the heart. We're gonna shift the weight into that front leg, okay? So you're gonna draw your left knee with you. Inhale. So standing here in one-legged mountain, we're gonna twist to the left. Stand tall. Keep shoulders over hips. Crown of the head is reaching up. Now come back to center. Take that left foot behind you. You're gonna grab your inner ankle here. Make sure your knee stays towards the midline. Reach the right palm, the right hand up. Take an inhale. Exhale, kick your foot into your hand. Working on that dancer's pose. Using a wall can be also helpful with the balance. One more. And slowly release. Oh, that felt nice. So using right the hand on the chair, the wall, if you're feeling wobbly, so then you can really focusing on that back bend, versus struggling and worrying so much about finding your balance. All right, inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Just step your right foot back, friends. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open, twist here. So the same thing we did on the other side, we do on this side. Make sure you're not traveling with the front arm, right? Flip your right palm, reach up and back. One more. Back to center, inhale. Exhale, pull the energy to the heart. Shift your weight into your left foot. Inhale, rise. Exhale, open, twist to your right. Standing tall, standing legs strong. Come back to center. Now start to bring the right foot behind you. Turn your palm out. Grab the inner edge of your foot. That's why we did some of those hamstring stretches as well, because sometimes doing this, your hamstring can cramp up a little bit. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, kick your foot into your hand. So I'm using here the wall today since I'm so close already. Keeping your shoulders as squared, your hips as squared. Breathe, tone that belly. And slowly release. Oh. Very nice. Bring your feet to touch. Take your arms by the sides of your body. Soften the shoulders, hands to the heart center. Soft gaze or closing the eyes. Just taking a moment to thank yourself for your efforts, your body for being capable and strong, right? And then find a seated position. Like a few stretches here. So I always like to definitely release, right? Stretch that spine after I do back bends. So one of my favorites is Janushirshasana, which works on one side. I mean, you feel a nice stretch overall, but you definitely gonna feel a little bit more in the low back on
each side of the low back. Take a breath in, and then exhale, fold here. No need to overdo, right? No need to force anything. Just try to relax. And for those of you that are feeling lots and discomfort in your low back or hamstring, bend your knee. You can slide a block here, friends. Just fold. Two more breaths. Use your inhales to lengthen, your exhales to fold a little bit more. Walk your hands back slowly. Now just cross that leg that was straight. I don't even remember which side I said we were doing. Sometimes I mirror. But anyways, that leg that was out, just cross it over, right? And then we're gonna twist in the opposite direction. So if your left leg is over, your right elbow is gonna hook. Sit tall. Just enjoy this seated twist. If that bottom knee, the leg that's under your knee is bugging you, extend your leg out in front of you. And release. You can even take a little counter twist here. And let's switch sides. So sitting tall, a little bit more limited range of motion here, so my knee doesn't really rest fully on the floor, so I just use a block. Breathe in and breathe out, fold. Remember, you can bend your knees as much as you need. You can use a block under that leg. You do you, friends. Try to slow down the breath a little bit more. Enjoy one more full inhale and exhale through the nose. And then walk the hands back. So again, that leg that's straight is gonna go over, so your knee is gonna point towards the ceiling. Make sure you find both sits bones pressing on the ground, and then add that twist. You can hook your elbow, you can press your forearm, whatever is available to you. Final one. And let's release. If you want to take a little counter twist. Come back to center. Just cross your legs here. Sit nice and tall. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, just fold. Shake your head yes and no. Open and close your mouth. Then walk your hands back. Hands to the heart center. Take a moment here again to always express honest gratitude towards yourself. Come down to your backs. You can spend a few more breaths doing a little happy baby or a bridge pose if you wish to twist a little bit more. But do give yourself permission to spend 2 to 3 minutes in your Shavasana, your final relaxation. As always, it's a pleasure to guide you. Thank you so much for joining me. May you have peace, may you be happy, may you be free. Namaste.